over NFL and WWE, respectively. Starting off with the NFL sides of things, back on Thursday, we had an upset. The Giants beat the Eagles 34-17 at home. They beat them at home. Scatterbo was going crazy. Jackson Dart was going crazy. And the Eagles just kind of fell flat. Like I've been saying these past couple weeks, the Eagles have really been struggling when it comes to meshing well and really just making sure things are getting going. Things were getting going for Dallas Goedert, it seems. He had 9 receptions, 110 yards. A.J. Brown was 6 for 80. Jalen Hurts, 24-33, 283, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Right? Not bad. Like, he didn't play bad. I think the defense. It has to be the defense, right? It has to be the defense. Their defense was not good. They let Scatterbo go off. He had 100 yards. Jackson Dart had 200. On top of another 60 rushing. That's crazy. That is crazy work by the Eagles defense. So before the week, we had an announcement that Shedeur Sanders would be finally QB2. They're 1-5. They obviously don't know what the fuck they're doing, so that's just like the end of that. Also before the week, the 49ers are deep in the injury list. Brock Purdy was out, Pearsall was out, Mac Jones was questionable. Not to mention during their games, Fred Warner is now out for the season. And then Juwan Jennings is playing with broken ribs and sprained ankles. Like, they hurting for real. The Lions, they in the same boat. The Lions are apparently in the same boat. I don't even know. Puka Nacua got hurt in game, but he's like day to day, so he might be back next week. Marvin Harrison Jr. out with a concussion during the game. Couldn't come back. Crazy. All those trades Cleveland made before the week didn't matter. They didn't matter because they lost to the Steelers. And I'm pretty sure it was not close. It was like 20-something to 9 or something. It wasn't close. They had Aaron Rodgers out there looking like he was in his prime. Like, yeah, I don't know. They played a good game. It was a little sloppy. And Cleveland, they start out strong, but they get tired towards the fourth quarter. So it's just hard, I guess. Baltimore has dropped to 1-5, ladies and gentlemen. What is going on? You know what? They need to take this bye week. They need to make sure Lamar can come back. And then assess from there. Because I really don't know what's going on with them, really. Well, there's something that's probably not surprising. The Dolphins lost. Once again. They lost to the Chargers. However, it was with a game-winning field goal, so it was a close game. So I'm not going to do them like that. But Tua's just not good, in my opinion. Like, here, let's look up here. Let's look up Chargers, Dolphins. So the Miami Dolphins fall to 1-5 after a loss at home, 29-27. Tua threw 3 picks, only 1 touchdown. He went 21 for 32, 205 yards. Achane, let's look at Achane's stats. 16 carries for 128, 2 touchdowns. It's looking like Achane held it down while he was in. And Tua, y'all see this right here? That's the door to outside. He need to leave. Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals lose to the Colts. And I'm pretty sure that was actually a pretty close game too. Let's see, Colts, Cardinals. Yeah, 31-27. The Cardinals fall to 2-4, while the Colts improve to 5-1. Indiana Jones is looking crazy. So Jacoby Brissett went 27 for 44, 320, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Not bad. Daniel Jones went 22 for 30, 212, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. So Jacoby Brissett played a better game. If you're just looking at just QBs. Like, if you're looking at just QBs, Jacoby Brissett played the better game. However, that's just one man on a 22-man roster. Or it's more than that, but you know what I mean. Offense, defense. Yeah. Oh. It was a close game, though. It was a close game. I do know that. So, Sports Illustrated. I took the time afterwards, after all the games, and I was like, I wonder who's leading the MVP race, because let's be real, all the people that were in the race last year, their teams aren't performing as well as they were last year at this time. So who's leading the MVP race? And so I looked, and it is Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is leading the race in the MVP votes. Josh Allen is at 2. They got Puka Nacua at 3, Dak at 4, and Sam Darnold at 5. I like the list, honestly, because it's different. It's not your standard Patrick Mahomes. Well, Josh Allen is still on the list, but it's not Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. You know, like how it's been for the past, 5 years. Cool. I like it. The Titans fired their head coach, Brian Callahan, after being 4-19 over 2 seasons. Good. I still don't see improvement this season. Maybe next season, but this season's dead in the waters. Dead on arrival. Brian Branch of the Lions got suspended for punching Juju Smith-Schuster in the face in their last game on Monday. Whenever the Lions played the Chiefs, that's when that happened. Yeah. I don't know. You can't be punching people. I don't know. You gotta know when you can get people back, and you can't just you gotta look around for the refs, bro. It's like insert the Cat Williams. Do you know that we can see you? Because that's what kind of thing it is, for real. And spinning off of that, let's keep talking about the Chiefs. Rashee Rice can now join the team, start practicing again. It's been 6 weeks. He can now play the game of football again. His suspension has been lifted. We should see an improvement in the Chiefs' offense. Sorry. Now I'm going to go over a couple of games that I paid attention to and then I thought were kind of important on the season. So let's go ahead and go into it. So the Lions-Chiefs. It was a close game in the beginning, but the Chiefs overcame them 30-17. The Chiefs might be warming back up. They got some momentum going into the next week now that Rashee Rice is back now too. And then I was also talking earlier, Brian Branch punched Juju. So that happened in that game. Oh, crazy game. I don't know why I have this listed under my key games, but Jets Broncos. Hey, it was a close game for what it's worth. It was 13-11. So the Jets tried. Came up short. Their offense just looks you know. But then at the same time, the Denver Broncos got that dominant pass rush again, like how they did a while ago when Peyton Manning was bringing him to the bowl and stuff like that. The Seahawks Jags, another good game. That was another good game. However, the Jacksonville rookies, they were kind of struggling. They were kind of struggling a little bit, but it's fine. The Seahawks got the W. Sam Darnold is apparently hooping. Like, that man is going crazy. All right, let me look at the stats from that game real quick. Apparently, he's been hooping because he's on the MVP race. What was he in the MVP race? 5. So, like, you know, let's see. It was 20-12. It was another good game. 16 for 27, 295, 2 touchdowns. Sam Darnold. Not bad. Like, not bad. It seems nobody could get the run game going, though. Kenneth Walker III had 10 carries for 34 yards, and Etienne Jr. had 12 carries for 27 yards. They was just stuffing each other at the line. It was a QB playoff, I guess. Like, it was like a QB shootout, I suppose. Hey, not bad though. Good win for the Hawks. Now Titans Raiders. It was the battle of the 1 and 4s. The Raiders got the W, so now they move up to 2 and 4. Not bad, not bad. Ashton Genty. He's a light in the darkness for sure. Light in the darkness of them for sure. Light in the dark. He's been going crazy this year, regardless of what else has been going on in their team. They won 20-10 against the Titans. Ashton Genty, 23 carries, 75 yards a tud. Like, those are standard yards. Like, that's pretty solid. Geno Smith went 17 for 23, 174, touchdown, 1 pick. Cam Ward. Oh, wait, Cam Ward was kind of going crazy. Cam Ward, 26 for 38, 222, 1 tud, 1 pick. So, like, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe the defense was too hard on them. Who knows? But yeah, Vegas got the W. Maybe Geno can get them people off his back a little bit. So Rico Dowdle, ahead of the Cowboys-Panthers game, told them, he was talking towards the Cowboys and was telling them to buckle up. They did not buckle up. They thought they could walk into Carolina, no seatbelts on, because that man went crazy on him. He set a record for the most yards against the former team at 239. The fact that they let him get 239s in the first place is absolutely fucking bonkers. The game as a whole was back and forth. The Cowboys lost to a game-winning field goal. The final score was... Yo, that fly's fighting me, man. The final score was 30-27. So, it was a pretty close game the entire time. Dak was going crazy. However, the defense was lacking big time. George Pickens is going crazy while CeeDee Lamb has been out. So, I don't know what's going to go on there. But the Cowboys lose 30-27. Rico Dowdle went crazy on them boys. I told them to buckle up. They did not buckle up. And now we got the 2 crazy games that were on Monday. Those 2 crazy games. So the first one was Bills versus the Falcons. I was saying earlier that Atlanta won. The defense was locked in. They sacked Josh Allen 4 times and made him throw 2 picks. They was going crazy, and they ended up stunning Buffalo 24-14. So, like, it was a pretty decisive win. It was pretty decisive. Oh, I don't know. But then now we got Bears in Washington. That was another crazy game that came down to the wire. Mr. QB Zesty, if y'all know Chizit Adonis, Caleb Williams went 17 for 29, 252, one passing touchdown and a receiving touchdown, no picks or anything. He was going crazy. He went off, which is kind of crazy. And then Jake Moody got the W. with the field goal, 25-24. People don't like Jake Moody. I remember people that they were literally talking about how Jake Moody isn't really that good, and then he made that field goal. They like doing that. They like jinxing him. I don't know. Thanks. What does Jets stand for? Just end the season. So they're done. Steelers 4-1. This is standard. The Steelers haven't had a losing season since Mike Tomlin has been coach. So they're always gonna be at least super middle, you know what I mean? Like they're at least gonna be that. Bengals 2-4, they're struggling. They just picked up Joe Flacco, so maybe some things will turn around. Ravens 1-5, Browns 1-5. I was talking about the Browns earlier. They don't know what they're doing with Shadur. I think they should just start splitting time between Shadur and Dylan. Your season's already practically done. Why not just see what works? I don't know. Ravens. The Ravens would have to win out. They would have to win out. Lamar Jackson would have to come back and start going absolutely dummy for them to make playoffs, because they're 1-5. Which, I mean, it should be easy because maybe the Bengals don't get better, but maybe they do. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? Colts 5-1. I was just talking about them earlier. Danny Jones, Indiana Jones. That's like a new player, bro. He's deadass an entirely new player since being on the Colts. It doesn't make sense. Jags 4-2. I don't really got too much to say. I low-key like the Jags. I don't know why. But Texans 2-3. And Titans 1-5. Titans fodder. Their season's probably done. Cam Ward don't know what the hell he doing. Texans. I don't know. Something's up with the Texans. Something's up with the Texans because it doesn't make sense. I don't know. Something just doesn't make sense about the Texans. Uh-oh. I do gotta move my face. Boom. Alright. So down here at the bottom, we got Chargers 4-2. Bronco. This division is so close. Wait. This division is so close. And the Chiefs are in third. That'll probably change, but these two teams are so good right now. I'm not even sure how much it'll change. Oh no. Alright, so that's the AFC. Let's go check that NFC. Alright, NFC East. Tight division. Because there's like one game between everybody here, so like everybody has a game on someone. Like the Eagles have a game on them, Commanders have a game on them, Giants have a game on it, you know. Or Cowboys have a game on the Giants, you know. Kind of like how that goes. Packers leading out north. That's kind of standard, honestly. Lions in second. Standard. Vikings. Standard. Bears last at 3-2. Bro, these divisions are close, bro. So close. The Bucks at 5-1. Like I said, Baker was leading the MVP race, so he's obviously been going crazy this year. The Falcons are kind of warming up. They just came off a big W beating the Bills. Panthers, they just beat the Cowboys. And the Saints are down there struggling. God. 49ers. Whoa. Is this the best division in football this year? 3 teams sitting at 4-2? However, the 49ers are technically the worst. Yeah. Because they're on a 1-loss streak. They have 2 1 wins here. I don't know. Yeah. Standards are seeming kind of crazy right now. Kind of crazy right now. So now I want to talk about my upcoming games of the week that I will be paying attention to. So the first one is going to be the division battle of Washington and Dallas. It'll be for second in the NFC East because their records are close. And I think that'll tip the scales, right? Yeah, that'll tip the scales because Dallas is 2-3-1 with a 2-3 with a tie, and Commanders are 3-3. So if the Commanders lose, they go to 3-4. Yeah. So this is for second place so far in the NFC East. It should be a good game. I think it'll be a good game. I mean, it's a division game with two close to 500 teams. There's no way it's a bad game, right? Zero way I think it's a bad game. And now the Eagles will come over here to Minnesota. It's proven time for Minnesota because they've been hot and the Eagles kind of cold. So the Eagles are on a 2-game skid, and they just lost Sardarius Smith. He retired after their game, or like before their game, sometime during the week between now and their game. He retired. Maybe the Vikings can squeeze out a win with the offensive struggles that come from Philadelphia. Now I got Buccaneers, Lions. The Bucs are 5-1 as we just went over, and the Lions are 4-2. Baker is red hot right now. He been in the kitchen, not cooking apple turnovers. Funnily enough, he been dishing that thing out. He been going crazy. And then Aiden Hutchinson is also playing good, but they are coming off a loss, so maybe his hopes aren't high. Who knows? Who knows? We all know a good player, when a good player loses, it hurts them. We all know this. Like, when you lose to things you probably shouldn't be losing to, it hurts the confidence and all that stuff. So, but I still think it should be a good game regardless. And then we got Raiders Chiefs. This is a division battle. AFC West. Yep, AFC West division battle. This is for third. I do think the Chiefs will take it because they're getting Rashee Rice back. Yeah, they're getting Rashee Rice back, so I think he will be the deciding factor between the game. It's proving time for the Raiders. Maybe the Raiders can lock in. Maybe the Raiders lock in, and maybe Geno will. Geno got to prove something. Geno got to lock in and pretty much just ignore what people are saying. Otherwise, he's gonna let it get to him, and it's just gonna get worse. It's not gonna get any better. But I think the Chiefs will win. Yeah, I think the Chiefs will win. And now we got Rams, Jags. Now the Jags did just lose. However, they were able to beat Kansas City. Do you think maybe they got a little bit of ego left over, and that's why they lost to the other team? Did they calm down a little bit? Who knows? Who really knows? And I think really this game comes down to will Puka be playing? Because I did some research and it says he's day to day with ankle sprains, so maybe he's there, maybe he's not. We don't know. So I think deciding the game will come down to if Puka's there. I think the Jags might be able to squeeze out a win if he's not. But then again, the Rams also have Devontae Adams and, all these other people that can play the game very efficiently. So, who knows? All right, guys, that's all for the NFL section. I know that part was probably long, but buckle up. The WWE is even longer because they was in Australia and they had a pay-per-view this weekend, so we're going to talk about the entire weekend. Let's go ahead. So first I want to talk about SmackDown, and it starts off with Cody in the ring talking about his match against Seth Rollins. The crowd... Sorry, I was just reading the notes. Cody was trying to get Cole to say what the crowd was saying, and the crowd was calling him a wanker, so Cole didn't understand it, and so Wade Barrett was like, they're calling him a wanker with an actual mic, like, out loud. The crowd popped. It was crazy. It was crazy. But Cody was saying that Seth couldn't beat him, which he couldn't. We all know the running joke. He's 0-4 in Peely's, 0-22 all the other times. So that's just what Cody was saying. He said that. Crowd popped. He left the ring. So off a commercial, it comes back, and Cody is backstage talking to Nick Aldis. I always get him and Adam Pearce switched up. I don't know why. I wanted to say Adam Pearce, but that's not who that is. But then Jacob Fatu came out of nowhere and was like, yo, Cody, when you done with this Seth stuff, just know I'm up next. Whoa. First of all, that's cool. I'd like to see that. But then he's interrupted by Drew McIntyre, and he just gets beat up. By Drew McIntyre. So I don't think that's happening, unfortunately. But then the first match of the night was the Sami Zayn US Open Challenge. It's always suspenseful when we don't know who he's going against. But then some familiar music hit, and it was Shinsuke Nakamura, but he had his original theme. It was so good. We all know that Shinsuke debuted against Sami in NXT, so they got that chemistry going. The match was a banger. I will say they got that chemistry. It's good to see this version of Nakamura again. The heel was good. It was good, but it's good to see this version of him back once again. But then the match was going super solid. It was super back and forth, but then it got broke up by the full MFTs, Tongaloa, Tamatonga, Talatonga, and JC Mateo. It was all of them. All four of them. So it was the return of Tamatonga that happened just then. I'm over the MFTs, but it's fine. And then I must have these written out of order in my notes because I don't remember the order of these matches. I'm just going to go based off of how I think they were and how I remember, because I remember it opened with Cody in the ring, but the last thing was Damian Priest versus Aleister Black, last man standing. That was the main event. I remember that. I'll get into that later. So what I think happened next was the Stephanie Vaquer, Tiffany Stratton match against Kiana James and Julia. Kiana James got hit with the Devil's Kiss within 20 seconds of the bell ringing, and the crowd went like Booker T. It was good. It was funny. It was good and funny. And then it got brought to my attention that Stephanie and Julia kind of have this parallel. You know, they have this parallel career so far. They came into NXT at the same time. They were winning the NXT championship around the same time. They got called up to the main roster at the same time, and now they both have championships again around the same time. So, you know. But Tiffany and Stephanie got the W. I believe Tiffany got the pin with the PME. So, good match. It was a good match though. And then so last week, after Carmelo Hayes got himself that match against Sami Zayn, and Miz came out and beat him up afterwards. So then Miz is backstage cutting a promo on Carmelo, and he was saying, He was saying how people don't realize that he is who he is for a reason. And then Kathy tries to call him a spotlight stealer, and Miz goes, "Spotlight stealer, I am the spotlight." So, and then he looks at the camera and he goes, "Somebody tell him that he missed." It was crazy. It was I don't remember the like word for word what it was, but it was a cold promo. It was fire. It was damn near what we need out of the Miz, like all the fucking time. No lie. So for some reason, they absolutely love leaving the tag team championships off of whatever PLE is coming up. So the next match was the Street Profits versus the Wyatt Six for the tag team championships. Again, it was good. It was good. The Street Profits came out with their OG theme. There was a lot of, it was hard hitting. Brian Dawkins is kind of a freak athlete. It was crazy. There was double electric chair blockbusters, like Dawkins had Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis on his shoulders, and Montez Ford went for the double blockbuster off the top rope. It was crazy. But then the finish was coming. Dexter Lumis grabbed Joe Gacy out of the way of Montez's big splash, and so he hit the mat. They did their finish, got the 1, 2, 3, and then they were interrupted by the MFTs. They were interrupted by the MFTs, the Wyatt Six. So, are they coming for the tag titles? Or are we looking at the War Games match? There'll be more on the War Games match later, but this, to me, this might be both. It could be both. It could be both because you start the feud with all of them and then you just like branch it off. You know? I don't know. We'll see. And then the main event of the night was Damian Priest versus Aleister Black in a last man standing match, which stole the show. It was a banger. It was super hard. But the surprise that came to me from it was that Zelina Vega came out and saved Aleister Black. I've been waiting for this. And what's crazy is, I don't know. Why'd they do that? Why'd they do that so quickly? They released Karrion and Scarlett, but then they just paired together Aleister Black and Zelina, another husband and wife combo. That doesn't make very much sense. Because that, to me, that could have been an easy feud. Them two, Aleister Black and Karrion Kross. That could have been crazy, low key. Could have been good. But no, it ended in Aleister Black fucking hitting him in the face with a fireball, black mass, off of some tables into some more tables. He was the last man standing. He got the W. That's how the show ended. And so now we're going to talk about Crown Jewel. Crown Jewel was so good, low-key. So good, low-key. It was so good. So the night started off with Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns in an Australian street fight. There was nothing really Australian about it other than a couple rugby balls and bats, like cricket bats. But that was it. That was literally it. Bronson Reed got the hometown pop, you know, as most people do. Braun Breaker jumped the barricade when Roman was running around to do a spear through the barricade, so he jumped the barricade and cut him off. That was crazy. That popped me, honestly. The Usos came out to help, and it kind of backfired. It ended up with Jay spearing Roman through a table, setting up Bronson to get that tsunami, the tsunami, and hit him with the 1, 2, 3. After the match, Roman was kind of like, "Yo, why'd y'all come? I told y'all not to come." Because he thinks the world thinks he can't do anything on his own, which, were you not watching the content you were in the last 5 years, bro? You couldn't do anything on your own. You wouldn't do anything on your own. But I understand where he's coming from, because he did that the last few years, so now he needs to prove that he can do it himself. That's cool, whatever. And he essentially just goes, thank you, but no thank you, essentially, pretty much. But then afterwards, Jay is just like, yo, he just always gonna do him. He just always gonna do him, and he low-key crashes out about it. And that took forever. Bro, we're already like 45 minutes into the show at this point. But then the next match was the crowning of the new women's crown jewel champion. Tiffany Stratton versus Stephanie Vaquer to crown the new crown jewel women's champion. It was a good match. It was kind of short for my liking. And I've heard it was because of the Roman stuff before it that it got cut kind of short. Meh. It was fine. It was still a good match, though. Stephanie Vaquer, she's got a crazy submission bag. I didn't even know she had that many submissions in the bag, but she was pulling out submissions left and right. This might sound a little crazy, right? But I think I might put before and an after, or before and an after of who I'm about to, or what I'm about to talk about, so it doesn't sound crazy. But I might be tripping, but where did Tiffany Stratton's muscle go? Where did her, I don't know, I might sound crazy for that, I don't know. So, but then Stephanie gets the win with the spiral tap. We all know what spiral tap is. I was about to imitate it with my fingers. We don't need to do that. Afterwards, she cuts a promo. It's kind of in Spanglish because, she's trying to speak Spanish for her family and everybody of that descent watching. And then she's trying to cut it in English, but she doesn't really know that much English. So, she's kind of like speaking Spanglish a little bit, but it was fine. It was fine. It was a fine promo. It was just her pretty much saying, I'm crown jewel champion. I just became women's champion, and you're just, you ain't seen nothing yet, kind of thing. I don't even know where to start talking about this next match. Because, dude. This next match was so good. It hit the spot. It was good eats. And literally, my notes on this match are longer than anything else. Literally longer than anything else. But if you couldn't tell by what it was John Cena versus AJ Styles. Ooh, it was so good. First, I want to talk about the yellow sea of Cena shirts that was there. Dude, it was like every other person was wearing a Cena shirt. It was so crazy. You could really only see yellow in the crowd. It was crazy, though. But AJ Styles' music came out. He was wearing his throwback gear from TNA, like the TNA days, the blue and white junts, the shorts, the jacket. It was cold. But then, we get John Cena's normal music, his normal intro. And then, he gets the Never Seen 17, gracing your presence one final time in Perth, Australia. This, that. But then he goes to Jackie again, or to the ring announcer again, and she starts reading off an intro for AJ Styles, and he goes, he called him the definition of total nonstop action, and I don't remember the last part, but he brought up Bullet Club. It was so good. Called him the face that runs the place. It was, but there was definitely no complaints from me in that match, as there was a surplus of references to other matches and other people they have gone against. It was great. Cena did a skull crushing finale. He did an accolade. He did Walls of Jericho. He did a Sister Abigail. There was a 619 attempt. There was RKOs. Cena even went for the punt. He even went for the punt. Michael Cole calls John Cena Juan Cena when he goes for the 619. I thought that was funny. I thought that was pretty hilarious. And then AJ Styles pulled off a coquina clutch. AJ he then AJ countered the walls of Jericho with a calf crusher. AJ Styles went for a sweet chin music. It was either I've been seeing on Twitter that it was Last Call referencing I think James Storm from TNA back in those days, because that was also his finisher, but he tuned up the band. You know how Shawn Michaels will stomp his foot, tune up the band for sweet chin music. So it was like kind of a split reference between the two, but it was good. It was good. Then John Cena won with a tombstone, bro. John Cena won with a tombstone AA combo. So he did a tombstone, picked him up again, and put him up on his shoulders. AA 1, 2, 3. Man, it was. Oh, I think that's the closest match to literal perfection I have ever seen in my life. And they didn't do anything besides go back and forth throwing nostalgia moves. Kabuki Warriors versus Io and Rhea. I mean, we probably already knew where this match was going because Rhea is home. But I digress. I don't know how you guys feel about the Kabuki Warriors theme, but I like the Kabuki Warriors theme. I think it goes crazy. I think that should go crazy. And now, referencing the storyline, do you guys think Kyrie is brainwashed, or is Asuka just being a good leader? Or is Kyrie just scared? I think Kyrie is just scared because she smacked her on multiple occasions. She's just bitching her, bro. She's just bitching her. Just bitching her. And now, the main event was Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. And now, I didn't get up in time to initially watch Crown Jewel. Actually, in complete honesty, I didn't get up in time to watch any wrestling this weekend because it was all at like 8 a.m. And I go to bed late. I was not able to catch anything. I had to go back and rewatch it. But Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. I was only watching really like here or there, but from what I heard and what I've seen, it was a good match. There was Avalanche Crossroads. Seth possibly got injured on a coast-to-coast headbutt. I never heard anything like that or seen anything like that until he did it. It was so crazy. Seth did stomps off his second rope. It was crazy. But Seth Rollins got the W, finally beat Cody Rhodes. Finally got the 1, 2, 3. Now he's 1-4 against Cody Rhodes in title matches, or not title matches, in PLE matches, and then 1-22 altogether flat in all matches in general. And so now our finale of the weekend in wrestling comes with Monday Night Raw. And Monday Night Raw starts off, they're seeing all the people come through, all this, that. And I know for sure my notes are out of order. I know that for sure. So since I know my notes are out of order, I'm going to just talk about things as I see them on my notes. So first thing that's listed on my notes, I got the Dom versus Penta Intercontinental Championship match. It was overall a pretty good match. It was a good match, but Rusev came out and tried to interrupt and got intercepted by Penta diving off. That was good. But then it low-key cost Penta because Penta came back in the ring and distracted the ref, hit him with a hammer, and then stuffed the hammer in his boot to use for the 619, which is just kind of creative. He did the 619 frog splash, 1, 2, 3. That was that. Dom retains and he gets out of there away again. Scot-free. LA Knight cut a promo backstage with Jackie Redmond about the number 1 contendership match in the main event. He got interrupted by Punk. Punk was just like, yeah, you think you got it? No. And LA Knight was, you think you got it? watch this. And then he just walks away and goes, I don't remember the gear, like the actual wording, but that's what that was said. And so the next match was Kyrie versus Rhea Ripley. Before the match, there was a little segment backstage. Kyrie was sitting there kind of freaking out about fighting Rhea, or about losing and having to talk to Asuka again. And then Asuka walks in and she was like, yo, you lost. However, you get another chance. You get to fight Rhea tonight. And Kyrie was like, huh? You know? She was like, not happy about that. But then Asuka basically smacked her and was like, lock in, go do what you gotta do. Who cares? So then music hits. She's out there. They go out there. Rhea came out, Rhea came out. Io comes out with Rhea. You know, standard entrances. It was a good match, and to me, it was closer than I expected. Like I thought Rhea would just go clap up on Kyrie because Rhea, Kyrie, you know. But no, they didn't do it like that. It was actually a lot closer than I thought. After the match, after Rhea won, Asuka got mad, goes and beats up Io. Rhea sees, starts beating up Asuka. She went to go put Asuka through the announcer table with a riptide, and Kyrie came with a kendo stick, started beating her up. It ends with Asuka and Kyrie standing tall. Asuka standing there confidently, Kyrie kind of freaking out on the inside. It's kind of been the thing recently. So then we had Bronson Reed versus Jimmy Uso. Don't know why. But Jimmy, it was just a squash, pretty much. Jimmy got overwhelmed and beat fairly quickly. After the match, Braun Breaker came out, speared him about 4 times, and then Jay came out to try to save him. Kind of got beat up a little bit, but ultimately Jimmy and Jay stand tall. And then Jay is just kind of like scolding Jim for having the match in the first place, which I understand. You're not gonna Jimmy, you're not gonna beat Bronson Reed. Like, let's be for real. But he goes out there, scolds him after saving him, and just walks away. I don't know what's going on with Jey Uso. He finna crash the fuck out, honestly. But then before or after that, I don't know when it was actually, because I know my notes are out of order. But there was another Lyra and Bayley tag team match. Lyra basically goes, I don't know if I can trust you. This is a one-time thing. Cool. And maybe she meant it because she was on NXT yesterday celebrating with Tatum Paxley after she is the number 1 contender for the NXT women's belt. So, who knows? Maybe she actually meant it was an actual one-time thing. Who knows? I am still confused on where we're going with Bayley. I just don't know. Then later in the night, they had Stephanie Vaquer come out and talk about how she won the match and all that good stuff. But then she was later interrupted by the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day by Raquel and Roxanne. Roxanne essentially just whines about how she beat Io and it should be her standing in that position instead of Stephanie. And Stephanie is just like, no. No, you can try me if you want to, but you gonna find out, essentially. But that was that. I think they might be teasing. That was probably a tease for a match coming or something. So, oh, we'll see. We'll see what grows with that. But I think maybe it should have been Raquel, because Raquel's been up recently. Like she doing good recently. So maybe it should have been Raquel in my opinion. One thing I do know for a fact is that the main event was the number 1 contenders match between Jey Uso, LA Knight, and CM Punk. And it was honestly one of my favorite triple threat matches. I like triple threat matches that have all 3 men involved, and it's not just like, oh, one dude gets taken out in the very beginning and then it's like a one-on-one for 10 minutes. No, I don't like that. I like when all three dudes are constantly interacting in the match the entire time. One thing that took me by storm is that CM Punk was by far the crowd favorite. I don't know how you have three crowd favorites in a match and CM Punk is the most favorited one. I don't know. But hey, I agree. Out of those three, CM Punk is my favorite as well. So that's a +1. But the crowd singing his song must have had him feeling good because he picked up the W and he is now the #1 contender for Seth Rollins' World Heavyweight Championship. And so after the match, after the 1, 2, 3, the Vision comes out and jumps everybody. They jump Jay, they jump CM Punk, they jump LA Knight. Seth comes out, beats up CM Punk, tells him he'll never be champion as long as he's champion, that whole spiel again. But then the credits start rolling. The Vision is standing tall. And then the unthinkable happens. That's right. The Vision turn on Seth Rollins. What, bro? I think this should have happened like 6 months from now. Actually, 6 months from now, in April, in Vegas. This should have happened that should not have happened so soon. But I only think it happened because Seth injured himself doing that coast-to-coast headbutt in Crown Jewel, so they kind of sped things up, which I don't mind. My overall thoughts from the past weekend of wrestling, it was good. It was good. And now I know they've been working on creative and switching things up. So this week was good. It was an improvement for sure. Definitely an improvement between both shows and all that. Yeah. Just for some extra, I want to bring up Bound for Glory because technically it included WWE talent. So it was the Hardys versus the Dudleys. And the Hardys are NXT Tag Champion right now. So their elimination table match was for the NXT and TNA tag belts. They retained. It was a good match. It was a banger. There was Javon Evans versus Leon Slater for the X Division Championship. That match was so good. I hated the ending. You can't end it. So there's a 20-minute time limit on the match, which they didn't say, like, when they're doing introductions and they go, this match is for one fall. Normally you would say there's a 20-minute time limit on it. But they hit the time limit. Santino comes out and he's like, y'all sound like y'all want 5 more minutes. So they go 5 more minutes. And then they're broken up by Dark State. Like, are you kidding me? You put on a 25-minute banger between two dudes that are practically the same, and you break it up with fucking Dark State. TNA, this is why WWE was holding you championships. But then there was Trick Williams versus Mike Santana, and another banger. That match was so good. But then Mike Santana drops the belt. Or no, not Mike Santana. Trick Williams drops the belt to Santana so that TNA finally have their big belt back. Although Kehlani Jordan did retain and is still your Knockouts champion, so they got the big belt back. Maybe they gonna work on getting that women's belt back here soon. But I just wanted to bring that up because there was still technical WWE talent involved. Overall, though, it was an exciting week in sports. A crazy week in sports. Survivor Series is gonna be shaken up because Seth Rollins is injured. And so the Vision turned on him, so they're not an eligible thing for more games anymore. We don't know if the Bloodline's coming back together, if they're hating each other. The Wyatt Six got interrupted by the MFTs. I don't know where they're going with War Games. I have no idea. No idea where they're going with War Games, but overall an exciting week. Baker leading the MVP race. Kind of crazy midseason slumps are causing expected rankings amongst the league. So, I don't know. But that is the end of the sports recap. So I will thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. I know I said that already. Bye.